Hello and good evening and welcome to this edition of the Sports Den Live. My name is Dominic Papa and welcome to the We-TV studio here in the east side of Windsor, Ontario. We're going to do it up, talk it up, sports, and more sports. A couple of shout outs first to the Windsor Spitfires. They are back into the playoff hunt thanks to a great road trip. Hopefully they'll continue their winning ways this week with a pair of games at home, Thursday evening against Sudbury and Saturday evening against Kitchener. Of course, they have a game in London sandwiched in between all that, so good luck to Bob Bugner and the gang there. Also, a shout out to the Windsor Express basketball team. They are now a perfect 10-0 at the Windsor Family Credit Union Center. They improved their record to 13-4. They are in action tonight in Brampton, so hopefully they go to 14-4, and then we'll head out east. Speaking of the Windsor Express, we will be with them next Wednesday night. Of course, it's the clash at the Coliseum 2. The Halifax Rainmen will be in town to take on the Express this very special night on Wednesday, January 21st. We'll have all the action for you live right here on we-tv.ca. On this edition of the Sports Den Live, we're going to talk more NFL playoffs, more controversy for the NFL, more headaches. And we've got some great people to talk about the latest rule calls or changes or whatever you want to call it, the mess that is the NFL right now. We're also going to talk about the resurgence of the Detroit Pistons basketball team. Can one player make that much of a difference? The Pistons 9-1 since releasing Josh Smith, their latest victim, the Toronto Raptors, last night. Let's get to our panel right now. A great group of guys to talk some sports with us. To my far side of the table, veteran referee, also a veteran sports guy, top-notch sales and marketing guy. He's done it all. A very good guy for our community. Mr. Jerry Oram is with us. Welcome to the show, Jerry.
Thanks, Tom.
I didn't mention the Dragon Boats as well.
The Dragon Boats, I hear they're coming.
They are coming. What is this? How many years for this now, Jerry?
We're going into our 13th year.
Wow. A lot of money's been raised.
Yes, we're just under $3 million that actually has gone back and stays right into the community. That's the great part of what Dragon Boats is about.
And you and your lovely wife really, I guess, put all that together, right?
Along with a number of other people, which is about 12 or 13, yeah, we've been very fortunate. It's people that help out, make the event go, and people are having fun and raising money for a great cause. Breast cancer really affects a lot of people, so we've been extremely pleased. Never ever thought we'd be around 13 years after we started.
Well, that's congratulations on that, and
Thank you.
Hard work paying off there. You must just love being. Jerry's also, of course, an official in our city. He refs football games. He's ref basketball. He's done baseball. He's done everything. But football's his main thing right now. You must be just loving this NFL stuff right now.
Yeah, I'm earning my stripes, as we'd like to
at
say.
home, right?
Yeah, it's kind of funny today when we had a meeting, and maybe I'll talk a little bit about that later. But go home and turn on the NFL station, and there's Dallas and Packers playing the game. And I really paid great attention to the play with Des again, and my goodness, I certainly wouldn't rule that way, but it doesn't mean that I was right. But I don't think the other guys were either. So,
well, we'll discuss that a little bit more in a moment. So, hang on. Also on the panel with us, second time he's joining us here, and wanted to bring him on for a couple of reasons. One, he's a great sports guy, a sports broadcaster. He does various jobs in our community. He's also the media relations director for the Windsor Express basketball team, and of course, we all know him as Matt Dumichel.
Thanks for having me, Dom.
Thanks for coming back. And let's go right at it, the clash at the Coliseum. Let's get that up there, Steve, if we can. The graphic for that game. You can tell our viewers all about it and what's happening and why this is going to be another great night, Matt.
Yeah, last year was the first year we had a chance to do it. It was the first time a professional basketball game's ever been played in a casino, and it was something that we were very excited about doing and extremely pleased with the result. It really is a highlight of our season, and a chance to get to do it again this year. Goes out to the fans wanting it, all the sponsors and such that we have that have been able to come on board again and help us get through it. And it's next Wednesday at 7:30 at the Coliseum, and it really is one of the big nights I think on the sporting calendar. It's in Windsor, Essex. Yeah.
For our community, absolutely it is. It's a very special night, and you're pretty close to the players on this team, Matt. You know what it means to these guys to play in that venue as well. from last year.
Yeah, they absolutely love it. I mean, it's for a lot of them, it's as close to as a big game, huge crowd that they're going to get. I mean, the WFCU's got great energy, and our fan support there is incredible. But getting to play in a completely different venue, I mean, the fact that the seats that are on the floor are taken out of the Coliseum and they put a basketball court right in the middle of it. I mean, all that excitement, and you know, we always do it up a little bit bigger for the Clash. So.
If you're at all superstitious, you maybe not want this game right now. Being that the Express are 10-0 at home, playing pretty good.
No, and we'll take the fact that we were 1-0 at the Coliseum. We won the game last year, and expecting a good fight from Halifax this year too. But yeah, I mean, home court has kind of become our baby and where we get most of our damage done. So hopefully we'll have to bring something from the WFCU Center over to the Coliseum and make sure that keeps going.
Yeah, bring a little bit of that magic. Thanks for coming in tonight, Matt. Also on the panel, rounding it out, another referee. He refs soccer. Again, does a great job in our community. He's also the president of the Essex County Soccer Association. Of course, we heard last week that the Windsor District Soccer League may not exist. I'm happy to say that Joe Burrill is with us, and he's got good news, right, Joe?
That's right, Dom.
Soccer will be.
There will be a soccer league in the summertime. What a lot of people don't understand is there's a lot of planning that goes on to put on a league. Last year there was 167 teams from the under 8 division to the over 30 division. So a lot of planning happens in the off season. You know, certain circumstances happen with the Windsor District that was out of our control. Their board made a decision, but what we had to do is make sure that parents knew, kids knew, and the teams knew that there would be a league for the summertime.
So good news is we will have soccer. What else is going on as far as soccer in the area? We've got the Windsor Stars, of course, that play in the Ontario League, the Essex County Association. Any changes there, Joe, that will keep this thing going strong, I guess?
Yeah, it's business as usual. Another busy year ahead of us. We just came off 2 years ago the International Children's Games we hosted at McHugh Park. Last year, the Ontario Summer Games at McHugh Park. This year, we will be hosting 4 OFSA tournaments. June 4th, 5th, and 6th. All those tournaments are happening at the same time, from single A to quadruple A, boys and girls. They love coming to Windsor. They love our facilities. They love the weather. So it's going to be another busy year in soccer.
You guys do a great job, and we appreciate the hard work, Joe. Keep it up, and thanks for coming in tonight. Matt, you're in real tough. You're between 2 stripes tonight, so you are in really tough tonight. Let me tell you, I'm glad I'm just the host here. If you do want to get involved with the show, of course, Steve put up our Twitter account there at SportsDen Live. You can tweet in, and if I get some time, I will read what's being said by our viewers. If you have a question you want to throw out to the panel, by all means, go ahead and do it. You can tweet in at SportsDen Live. Also, you can watch the SportsDen show on our YouTube channel, so be sure to check that out as well. Okay, let's get into it, guys. Then the NFL playoffs, we're down to the Final Four, but even the, the divisional finals this week, no less controversy this week than the previous week with Detroit fans. Boy, how much karma, call it karma for the Detroit fans, I guess. I'm sure they weren't crying too much about the reverse call by on the Dallas Cowboys with Dez Bryant's touchdown call. This is a call, though, maybe a couple years you go back with Calvin Johnson in Chicago.
That's where it started.
That's where it started. And, you know, you go back to that and what happened there. Was it karma?
Sorry, Jerry. Go ahead.
So you see, the referees are already.
We're ready to go.
Right here.
One of the interesting things today, again, when I was watching it, was Jerry Jones and how actually well he handled that situation where he didn't want to blame the referees and he didn't want to blame this and that. And I don't think there's many people who really like Jerry Jones as an owner and individual. The problem in officiating and what I think happens today is that it is a judgment call. It's a call where angles really make a difference in what the play is. But I looked at that Dez Bryant play again this afternoon, and from times that it used to be, when somebody caught the ball and then he took 2 steps, he had possession of the ball, that was a football play, and then if you hit the ground and you fumbled, it was a fumble. Bryant had 3 steps. Caught the ball, he dove for the end zone, the ball comes a little loose, it jumps in the air, they use Calvin Johnson as an example for the rule. Is it a good rule? I think it stinks. That's a matter of opinion.
Yeah, sure, sure, and that's what this show's all about.
Yeah, again, it's something that is happening. Was I actually hoping that something would happen to Dallas this past game and they would lose? I got to say, yeah, I'm a Lions fan. And but when you look at it all, and I think Joe will certainly probably agree a little bit to this, fans are fans, and nothing goes wrong with their team, and they're picked on all the time, and the referees, when they make a bad call, are picking on the team. And that's not true. Most officials don't have time to think about, oh, I'm playing Assumption today, and I'm going to call everything against Assumption. But it's a great feel. I feel sorry for him, but good luck to him.
You know, so Jerry makes some great points. You know, a lot of people, unless they've refereed, don't understand what goes into refereeing. And Jerry mentioned a few of the things: angles, speed of the play, people that are blocking your view when the play is being made. All those factors come into consideration. Now, I do have a problem. I consider the two controversies in the Lions game and in the Dallas game with Green Bay separate. I think the first one was really, you know, as a referee, the first thing you're taught is sell your call. And in that Lions game, I think they really did a bad job of selling their call.
Yeah, they didn't sell it at all.
The referee made the announcement, the yards were marked off, and then they gathered together to reverse
Did they
the
even
call.
actually gather together? I don't think as an entire group they did.
Yeah.
A couple of them may have come together, but I don't think there was a.
But I looked at it today. If you look at the NFL today, they all have mics on. So I don't think they get together as a group, but I think they're talking. That's in there. The play that really upsets me about Detroit game was there was 4 penalties, 3 against Dallas and 1 against Pettigrew on that same play. And then Dez comes running onto the field, which is a no-no with no helmet and in somebody's face. What I think should have happened there was, if they picked the flag up, which they shouldn't have, but if they did pick it up, it should have been third down repeated from the line of scrimmage and move on from there. They penalized Detroit in 2 or 3 different ways there, and that part of the game I don't think it is. But in officiating, you learn that one call by an official normally will not cause the game to be lost.
And I think, I don't want to concentrate on the Detroit game, but I think, you know, in hindsight, everybody has come to that realization that, you know, this one call doesn't make the entire game, and certainly the Lions didn't perform very well in that second half.
Right.
With all that said, Matt, this Dallas Green Bay thing, you know what, a lot of people are thinking, there's a theory out there now, there's a conspiracy theory out there that you know, the NFL is dictating a lot of this stuff.
Yeah,
I don't want to believe that.
No, and there's any number of ways, and it's no reason to get into tonight that I'm really starting to lose interest in the NFL. It's the soft play now. It's the Green Bay Lions game at the end of the season. You know, I'm a Lions fan too. The call that was made on Green Bay with the helmet to the head was terrible, and you know it's become soft. And it's the rules. For me, it's easy to blame the referee because the referee is the one that stands, turns the mic on, and makes the announcement. But I don't blame the referees for that Dallas game. I blame the rule. The fact that you have to define what a catch is, what a football move is. If falling to the ground and the ball comes out is a fumble caused by the ground or not. You know, there's so many things that the referees would never have time to explain. It's the letter of the law, which they're expected to follow. I just think the law is the problem. And I hate when things like this happen and then the rule gets changed and then they look at it. You know, with the fact that there's so many people that are debating this call, to me, single-handedly proves that there's something wrong with this rule.
Okay. Jerry Jones today in his interview, you talked about conspiracy, made a point of there is no conspiracy in the NFL.
Well,
they don't care about it, but he's got to say that.
He's got to say that, though.
But why did they bring it up? That's the
Well,
interesting part, because there's so many people talking,
I mean, you've
right?
got to, you know, I don't care if you're the NFL, the NHL, Major League Baseball, NBA, you have to consider the fans at some point. I mean, I don't think they do very much, to be honest with you, just my opinion, because when they're paying these salaries and saying, oh, the fans will pay for it, that's not considering the fan. When they're saying these television deals and stuff like that, that's not considering the fan. You know, it's going to, like the NFL Network's showing more and more games, so now you have to subscribe to some type of satellite to watch NFL football. That's not considering the fan to me. Okay? With all that said, though, at some point you have to listen to the fan, and that's where it's coming from. The fans are the ones that are feeling betrayed or cheated here. And how does the NFL address that? Let's face it, it's been one ugly year for the National Football League. With all the controversy away from the playing field with Rice and Peterson and all of that, it's been just a nightmare season. Now you're going into your playoffs and you have more controversy. The NFL, one, doesn't need it, and two, where do they go? How do they, I guess, clean up all of this, and will they keep their fans?
Well, I'm sitting there in the Lions game, and I've been a Lions season ticket holder for a while now. I've never heard as many people talking about, you know what, I don't really know if I want to come back. I don't really know if I want to do this. I think what's happened, again, when you're an official, and Joe probably, when he's watching soccer on TV, is watching the referees more than we watch the game, but it's the inconsistency. That is what is killing sports today, is the inconsistency of people. It's a multi-million dollar business, and they don't want to hire these people full-time.
Well,
that's an issue that people talk about.
The other can of worms that's being opened now. Do we need full-time officials? The other thing that's being discussed, and this is something right up your alley, and I know you have a viewpoint on it, Matt, as well. Do they need to have more replays? Do they need to have more looks at video? And how much does that, undermine the officials that are there?
But the replay, and I'll be quiet later on. But the one part of the game where they had to play with, I think with Cobb today, and they showed, and Mike Perella, who used to be in the NFL,
He's
calls
Fox,
it.
He's on Fox, and he's always commenting.
Always, and I would say 25% of the time, what I heard him this year, he went against the officials that were on the field. But when he talked about the play, you could see the ball hit the ground. Cobb catches the ball. They come back on the air and they say, it's a catch. Who's wrong? That guy that's watching that football game, that's a fan or whatever, or a fan for the other team, goes, I told you they're against me. And that's the only problem with replay. Replay does show a lot of things, but again, replay is an angle. So you can look at the different angles. They don't catch them all.
I just think, we'll call it the Calvin rule. Rules as controversial as this one, highlighted by, under the microscope in a playoff game, you will see, and it goes to the competitions review committee. They'll review it. And we had the same thing in hockey years ago when Brett Hall had his foot in the crease
with Buffalo,
the year that the NHL called back every goal that was somebody had their foot in the crease, whether they were involved in a play or not involved in a play. And he scored that.
Stanley Cup goal.
Stanley Cup winning goal. The controversy lingered. Next thing you know, that rule was gone the next year. So I think things like that tend to run their course. Yes, they're controversial. We always think about introducing more and more technology, and soccer is probably the most traditional sport that's avoided technology at all costs. Just now, they're introducing goal line technology.
Soccer has the best actors, though.
By far.
Come on, Joe. Come on, Joe. Come
part
on.
of the game. Part of the game. So, that's a fine line too. How much technology do you want to introduce? How much you want to take out of the referee's hands?
That's a good point, but the problem is you're looking at millions and millions of dollars now. And that's the headache now. Simply because if Dallas wins that game, that means more money for Jerry Jones. Of course, he's a businessman, so.
Let's talk about technology in baseball just for a second when they took the no-hitter away.
Well, there's all of that. I mean, there's arguments for it both ways, for sure.
Yeah.
I got to take a time out, guys, because we're running out of time. When we come back, I'll ask for the predictions for these next two football games from the panel, and we're going to talk about the Detroit Pistons, 9-1 in their last 10 games, right here on the Sports Den.
Hi, I'm Joe Quenneville, coach of the Chicago Blackhawks, and a proud graduate of FJ Brennan High. I can remember fondly my 5 great years at Brennan. It seems like just yesterday that we're there. A lot of great life lessons that I learned along the way, particularly from my teachers in the Catholic program. Want to wish everybody there good luck, and look forward to being a proud graduate and being a proud Cardinal going on here in Chicago.
Adding new products or services to your brochure? Updating those drab business cards? Or looking to create a striking window display? In need of some screen-printed signs for that construction site or promotional campaign? Posters, vehicle wraps, and a whole lot more. At Angel Star Digital, our expert design and production team are ready to meet all your promotional needs. For samples of our work, check out our website at www.angelstardigital.com, or you can call us at 519-969-0712. That's 519-969-0712.
Like our champions, we know what it takes to win. Every day we put on our uniforms and we strive to be the best. Ring after ring, we keep practicing until it becomes second nature. Our craftsmen have put in thousands of hours to master their trade. And when things get tough, we make the adjustments needed to stay on top. Baron Championship Rings. This is who we are.
Welcome back to the Sports Den Live. Dominic Papa with you. Before we get back to our panel, a quick reminder, next Wednesday, January 21st, the Clash at the Coliseum 2, the Windsor Express hosting the Halifax Rainmen, 7:30 tip. There is a pregame party.
Yep.
And there is a post-game party that they're inviting all Express fans to join. I'll let Matt talk about that in just a second. Again, tickets are available at the Caesars box office, also at the Express office on Olette Avenue. You can call them up. You see the number there. Of course, we-tv.ca will be there televising that game live. We're honored to be working with the Windsor Express on that great event. Matt, pregame, postgame party, right?
Yeah, we're doing something in Caesars. It's called Mezzanine North is the area. It's just past the lobby of the hotel itself in the Augustus Tower. And then afterwards, we're at one of the bars inside the casino too. So we're hoping people just, especially Thursday, maybe book Wednesday off, and Thursday you're going to need the day booked off, I think.
To
Yeah.
recover a little bit. Matt Dumshell with us from the Windsor Express. Jerry Oram also with us, of course, from the Dragon Boat races, and also coming on board with WeTV, actually.
Actually, I'm very, very excited about that, Dom. We're going to get together and we're going to make everything grow and have some fun and let the people of Windsor and Essex County understand what you're all about. And,
Well, what we're about here.
Yeah,
That's
we're all
what
about
we're here for.
having some fun and,
Yep.
and letting people know and showing things, and I like that.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun for sure. And also, Joe Brill is here, the president of the Essex County Soccer Association. He's joined by a very young, beautiful young lady, his daughter, Gabriella. Smile, Gabriella, and wave to everybody out there that's watching you.
Hi to everybody.
Say hello.
All right.
Okay. Gabriella, we said we need to have Gabriella on a set to make it look a little bit better than the mugs that are currently out here. So, thanks for helping us, Gabriella. Predictions for the two games first, guys. Let's get that out of the way. You've got Seattle, Green Bay. I think this is going to be an outstanding game. Seattle's the defending champion, so I guess until they're beaten.
Yeah, when I look at Seattle play, it seems to be they're at a different level than most teams. When I saw the New England in that game, I said, this is a different level of playing. Luke Wilson is now really coming into his own, our very own Luke, and seeing some touchdowns. So I think Seattle will win that game.
Okay. And the other one we have Indianapolis, New England.
Luck is
love him.
just playing his heart out, but I think it's going to be tough with Brady. And they were down 14 points twice in that game, and they came back. They just come back. They come back, and it'll be tough. So I pick New England.
Homer. Homer. Go ahead, Matt.
I hate to agree with Jerry, but
Another homer.
Yeah, for me, my biggest concern in that Seattle Green Bay game is how much longer is the story of Aaron Rodgers is on one leg actually going to last?
I think that's broadcasters
he's not
embellishing
moving
that.
very well, but he's never been pressured, and I don't think he's seen a defense like Seattle either. So I'll take Seattle in that one. And for me, for New England, we had last time I was on here was talking about quarterbacks. Andrew Luck for me is a top 3 quarterback in this league, but when you got a horse that's won before and knows how to win in these situations, you can't bet against him. So I'll go with Tom Brady one more time.
Homers. Oh, homers. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, I'm going to go against Green on at least one of them.
All right. All right.
one.
Joe.
Soccer guys.
All right.
Seattle is completely at another level, especially at home. Hard to beat at home. Even though I probably can't even name you their top receiver, Doug Baldwin. There you go.
Luke
there's-
Wilson.
Yeah,
Luke
Luke
Wilson.
Wilson.
Yeah, come on.
How could I forget? But I can't see him losing at home. In terms of the other game, Andrew Luck, you know what? Yes, he's going up against Tom Brady, but you know, he's validating the decision in Indianapolis to not go with Peyton Manning, and I think he's going to quickly follow into the footsteps of Tom Brady, and I think that'll start with this game. So.
Joe's on my team because I'm in the same place. I'm picking Seattle because I want Luke to get back to a Super Bowl, and I just think Seattle at home, you know, they have that 12th man, so to speak, is a big factor. Also, I like Indianapolis. I think what they showed us at Denver last week, Coach Pagano put together an outstanding game plan there, and they executed it almost perfect. I mean, Denver's receivers were blanketed the whole game. Manning could not get anything going, you know. They were not fooled at all. And I do think Andrew Luck is on his way up. He's the shooting star. And I think he's going to be the difference in this game. New England has fought back and done their thing, but they haven't been that team that can close out anymore. And maybe even Brady's best years are, you know, not too far gone, but starting to show some cracks in the game. And he doesn't have the core that he's had in the past. I really like Indianapolis. I think they've got a really good shot at winning this thing. And if they get into the Super Bowl, I think them and Seattle would be a classic tilt.
Good game. Yep.
Two young quarterbacks. And Luck is the only quarterback out of the four that hasn't won a Super Bowl. All
Right.
three of the other ones have won a
That's
Super
right.
Bowl. So time to make his mark,
There we
that's
go.
for sure. So go ahead, place your bets in Vegas now. Bet on me and Joe, though. Okay? Not these guys. Don't listen to those guys. We got to talk about the Pistons. We got a couple minutes left. Of course, around our parts, the Detroit Pistons, one of our teams for sure, aside from the Windsor Express, Matt, of course. But boy, oh boy, it was about 6 weeks ago they get rid of Josh Smith. They bite on $26 million. They've gone 9-1 since getting rid of him. And they've beaten, you know, some pretty good teams. San Antonio in San Antonio, Dallas in Dallas, back-to-back nights. They beat the Raptors last night. The
Down
Raptors had a
14
great
points
year.
in that game, too.
You know, can one player make that much of a difference?
I don't think it is one player. Matt Turner has seen you ready to go. I think what happened there is that nobody understands how bad Josh Smith was to the group of people that were there. So you dump the guy, 26 million's a big, big hit, but you dump the guy and all of a sudden the team comes together and gels. So I don't think it's just the one guy. I think getting rid of the one guy is certainly the catalyst which changed the Pistons.
Yeah, and I see it similar fashion, but kind of on that other side of things. I do think it can be one guy. I think, you know, in basketball especially, we see a guy like Kobe or LeBron or you know, Kevin Durant or somebody can take over a game. But that, you know, we never really talk about the guy who can lose a game. You know, you take Josh Smith out of that lineup, Brandon Jennings has changed his play. Andre Drummond has changed his play. You see more from Greg Monroe. They're able to use him in different positions and get him back in a more comfortable role. So I think for a lot of guys, for, you know, the Pistons themselves has eased a bit of pressure. Stan Van Gundy has made it clear that he's going to allow these younger kids to play, to try to make their mistakes. And I think the thing that wins for them more than anything is the Eastern Conference is absolutely terrible.
Horrible.
And in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it is, I mean, they're in playoff contention. And when you look at those standings, there's no reason they don't get in 5th or 6th if they keep playing the way that they have.
Yeah, well,
in the Western Conference, it's been over for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But in the East, all of a sudden, you're at least in the conversation of a playoff game.
Yeah, and you're right. If they keep playing at this clip, they will get into the playoffs. And you're right, they might be a 5th or 6th seed. What do you think, Joe?
I just think of it from a player's perspective. You know, no player was going to say, get this guy off our team. You know, what happens in the locker room stays in the locker room. But I think the message that was sent to the players by saying, hey, we're willing to eat X amount of dollars to get rid of this guy so we have a chance. I mean, they went from 5-25 in an embarrassing loss against the Toronto Raptors where the Palace was full of Canadian fans. Yeah. You know, I guess that was their bottom of the barrel moment to turn around to beat the Raptors last night in Toronto. I mean, I think it's a message that's to the players that says, hey, we're willing to go this far to try to improve our team. And to Van Gundy's credit, he's the one who pulled the trigger. He's the president. He's in control of everything now, and he pulled the trigger, and he made the right decision.
Okay, one quick word from each of you, and then I got to go. Do the Pistons make the playoffs?
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And I think so as well. That's this edition of the Sports Den. Thanks to our guests. Thanks to everybody that tuned in and viewed. Check us out again next Tuesday. We'll have another edition of the Sports Den Live. Until then, this is Dominic Papa wishing you a great night. Take care, everybody.